Hi, this is a quick tutorial to help you out with WeVideo, creating a podcast on WeVideo. So the first thing you're going to do is log into WeVideo. And when you log in, you're going to use your school Google account. If you know you want full editing access and full features, you will use one of the school links that your teacher can share with you. Otherwise, WeVideo does allow you to publish, I think it's 5 minutes a month for free. So what do you do when you get here? If you're not at the main page, just simply click on WeVideo. You are going to go to Create New and then choose Podcast. And I'll show you the new editor in a moment. Once you get here, you're going to say allow to use the microphone in order for your microphone to work. And then you can just say next. The first thing it offers you to do is to start recording your podcast. I encourage you to do that right away. Simply click on record. Make sure you're in a spot where you're not going to have a lot of distractions. And when it says go, you will start recording your podcast. Make sure when you're reading your podcast, you're using a nice and inviting tone, that you are clear with your words so your listeners can understand what you're saying. And the other nice thing about this recording is you can mess up and then pause for a minute and then say what you'd like to say again, and we can just cut that part out. You don't always have to start from the beginning. So when we're done recording, we're simply going to say stop. You can preview it and press play or choose to record again, or you can simply say save. And when you save your recording, it is going to go into voiceover, the first one right down here. And notice that maybe I did it in sections and I want to record again. If I go to my media and I notice that it says record or narrate, I want narrate. Recording is for video. So narrate only has that microphone. If I have more to record, I can simply say, click on it and then simply say record again. I'll start recording once it says go, and I can save that as well. When I have multiple recordings, you're going to notice if you scroll down underneath the tracks, you're going to see that there was voiceover 1 and voiceover 2. In most cases, you want to drag that voiceover 2 right next to your voiceover 1. And notice it just takes a moment to load. Once you're there, maybe I knew I had a part that I had to cut out. I can listen to it and notice that it says I was at 7:19. Where'd it go? There we go. Almost there. 7:20. That should work too. And I click the cut button. If it wasn't highlighted blue, then I would have to make sure I clicked on the right track. And then if I'm cutting, I know I'm cutting up until that point at 10:10, I can simply say cut again. And this is the part I want to delete. That was the part I messed up and I had to redo. And I highlight that one and I either press my delete or my backspace key, and then I can drag my tracks back over so they are all connected. One of the things you're going to want to do with your podcast is add music somewhere that's going to connect with the theme, and come to audio on the left-hand side. And once you figure out that mood, that tone, whatever you're looking for, something that's going to make you feel what the podcast is encouraging you to feel. Maybe it's sad, maybe it's happy, playful, angry, tons of different options. You're going to find a song that's going to go with what that feel is, okay? So maybe it is serious. So I'm going to choose that one and I'm going to drag that song down. And I don't want it over my podcast. I'm simply going to drag my podcast over to where I would like it to start. And I can move those. And I'm going to include that music just until a little bit into my podcast, highlight that track, and cut it like I did before with that little scissors. And that music I'm going to use at the very end again. So I'm just going to drag it to the end and I'll play with that in a little bit. But now that I see this is the music that I want, I might listen and I might say, you know what, that the music is too loud, especially when it goes over. So I need to show those levels. The little 3 dots, this is in the older version. You're going to click those little 3 dots, show levels, and then you can click on that little blue line. You can add another dot to drag that volume down or bring it back up where you need to. And I'm going to bring it all the way almost down to silent so it can gradually go into my podcast. Of course, I would listen to it again to make sure it's not taking over my podcast. Remember, as a listener, I should never have to adjust my volume except for at the very beginning when I want a set volume. Now, at the very top, you're going to see, some of you will see the new editor right away. I can say try it. If you are in the new editor, you're going to notice that my volumes, the showing of the volumes, let me move this again. The showing of the volumes is actually right up here. So I want to put audio on. And now I can see the volumes of all of my music. Now at the very end, let's say I have my whole podcast done, it's all recorded, and I want that same music at the very end, showing that mood again. But notice how I'm layering this again. I don't want to mess with that I don't want to take away from the podcast. I want to enhance it. Any audio should enhance it, not take away from the meaning. And then I'm going to bring my volume up, and I'm actually ending it at this spot where I can cut it again. And notice in the new editor, I'm going to use the split, and then I'm going to delete that ending. When you are all done, you've listened to your whole podcast, and you believe that definitely has an inviting tone. It's clear. You're able to have that steady volume throughout the whole story. You're telling your whole story, evoking the emotion you want in your story. Maybe you have some sound effects that you've added, or the music that enhances it but doesn't take away from the story. And of course, it keeps your listeners engaged. Once you're saying, yes, this is exactly what I want, I come to the upper right-hand corner and I click on finish. I can name my podcast. And notice that I am exporting it only as an audio file, as an MP3, and then I choose Google Drive to export it. In the upper right, I will say export, and that export will take a few minutes, but you will get a link at the end. When your podcast has been queued, you will then see, you'll either get a link in your email, or you'll be able to see this if you left the window open, and you can listen to it one more time. But notice that there is a shareable link. You can share it on the right-hand side, copy that link to the clipboard, and share that audio where you would like. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Enjoy making your podcasts.